It's called Ali's Claw. Hey, can I ask you, first of all, were you real fans of each other's bands? I mean, did you see Bauhaus live then?
No, I must admit, I hadn't. I didn't really know anything about Bauhaus.
That hasn't changed your mind then, about the partnership?
No. I knew more about Pete Murphy than I did actual Bauhaus, so it wasn't because of the respective groups we were in that we got together, no.
So how did you get together, Pete? I mean, how did you make this partnership?
Well, we were both in that sort of no man's land after the band split up, and we just looking around for respective people to work with. I was really interested in Mick's solo projects and his own album. We actually got together through the means of a Japanese journalist who gave each other our numbers, and we rang each other up, met, and decided it would be a really good idea to actually try and work together, and it actually happened to a success, I think.
Quite unusual to team up just as a pair rather than get a whole band together. I mean, do you think this is going to be difficult for you, or is it going to make it easier to get your ideas across?
I think it's going to be a lot easier when it comes to the actual work, recording. It's a lot easier to leave one person up to the vocals, one person up to the music, and you can be sure that everything's going to match itself if it's the same two people working on that. I think it's going to prove to be difficult when we come to touring.
Yes, because you play all the instruments, don't you, at the moment, so what would you have to do, get session musicians in or something?
Yeah, I think it's going to take a lot of auditioning and find a working unit that we can use in the future.
It's obviously going to be of great interest to the fans of the bands that you've left, though. I mean, Japan fans and Bauhaus fans are going to watch you very closely. Are you wanting to shake off those fans, get new ones, or what?
Not really, just to interest them and show them there's more to us. It's just like another direction for both of us, I think. I mean, especially after watching the Bauhaus clip, it was a very powerful, very hard rock, high energy thing. This is more like the opposite to that. It's like the calmer period.
Yeah, because your new video that you're just going to see in a minute, it's very like a Michael Caine movie. It's quite exotic. It's not at all the things you were doing before. Where was it shot?
We filmed most of it in Malta and some of it in Ireland. We basically wanted to get away from the usual run-of-the-mill video, so we made it look like a Michael Caine movie.
Right, well, let's see it now. This is Dali's Car and Judgment is the Mirror.
Hanging on her word. Hear myself say the world has stopped. The first step is the word. The dance is new momentum. question her around the clock, hanging on her words. The world has stopped, the dance is new, the momentum high, like swelling waves around, around, around.
As soon as I arrived at the South Bank Sculpture Show, I knew I was in for a few surprises. I was particularly impressed to see so many younger sculptors getting a showing for their work. Like this collection by Andy Frost, which I particularly like. They've got that 19th century industrial iron feel about them, but in fact they're all made from wood. He's managed to create a feeling of motion with these, which isn't that easy with this choice of materials. There seems to be a recurring theme throughout this exhibition of the sculptor teasing you with familiar objects, but adding completely new dimensions to them. Take the garden shed. It must be one of the most boring and ugly things you can imagine. Yet Richard Winsor's turned it into a spectacular and intriguing treat. Bringing together the skills of carpenter, painter and storyteller, he emphasises the spirit of barrier breaking. His preference for simple raw materials is echoed in many other sculptors' work. Like another of my favourites, Judith Cowan's Sand Boat, a wonderfully primitive form made from simply sand and resin. There's a strange ethnic feel about it that veers towards mythology for its influences. I like these plaster and pigment sculptures by Nish Kapoor for the same reasons. The shapes and primary colours he uses somehow reveal his Indian origins. It's amazing that something so simple can have so much effect. Bill Woodrow uses everyday objects and recycles them with amazing results. In fact, this whole scene is made entirely from a selection of old chairs and parts of an old washing machine. Looking round the whole exhibition, I think this is my favourite idea of all. At first glance, they appear to be just a couple of very large Italian paintings. But look closer and you notice a peephole. Through this, you can watch an amazing moving shadow theatre, which is itself related to the painting. Again, he's mixing various media to spectacular effect. And for the most dramatic breaking down of barriers between different art forms, enter the world of audio sculpture. Want to know what that means? Let American composer Glenn Branca explain.
I'm making a very definite effort to activate the potential of the acoustic phenomena in the space. I'm trying to create harmonic movement which will generate acoustic phenomena.
Got that? No? Well, how about this? Have you ever thought that the sculptural qualities of your voice are as individual as the place in which you use it?
Hi. I am currently sitting in my living room.
I'm standing on my balcony in the center of Stockholm.
My space. My city is São Paulo.
Standing in Royal Avenue, which is one of the main business streets in Belfast. We are in May 1983 in Warsaw.
It couldn't sound better. That's right. It couldn't sound better.
I suppose that means just sitting here using my voice in this room. I'm producing a sculptural work too.
Sculptor. Thanks for bringing your art along for us to see today. How long have you been sculpting?
About 3 years now.
And how do you find time to do this? Because it must be very time-consuming doing any one of those pieces.
I usually do it through the night. I concentrate on music in the day and sculptures at night.
Now, what materials do you use?
It's self-hardening clay.
What about the hand?
The hand's made of bronze. So.
How many pieces have you made then in the last 3 years?
There's 17 pieces in all now.
And you've had an exhibition in London last year, haven't you? And have you sold any of your pieces?
No, they're not for sale. I can't bear the thought of parting with them, really. My flat would be empty if I sold them.
So what about Japan? I mean, the band has now disbanded, but you are working on a new album, aren't you?
Well, it's a new album, but it's old material. It's a live album, which will be a live video too, with a film taken in Bangkok and Hong Kong.
Well, that sounds exciting. You have your own solo career to think about now, with your single Sensitive, which we heard a little clip from. And I know you're rushing off today to do something completely different from all of that.
Yeah, it's to do, I've written some music for a ballet Rambert, which will be on Riverside next week.
And does it have an Oriental theme to it at all?
Not really. It's got a very simple Middle Eastern feel to it, I think. More than Eastern.
Well, we wish you well. Thanks very much for coming and seeing us today.
Thank you.
Nick Carn.